Party leaders are starting a two-day marathon tour of the UK as the election campaign enters its final stages. Conservative leader David Cameron is beginning 36 hours of campaigning. Lib Dem leader Nick Clegg is launching a two-day dash from Land's End to John O'Groats, while Ed Miliband is also travelling around the country. Labour is warning of swingeing cuts to hospital budgets under the Tories. But the PM said a SNP-backed Labour government was a chilling prospect. UKIP leader Nigel Farage will spend the day in South Thanet, the Kent seat he hopes to win for his party. In other election news, with 2 days to go before polling day, SNP leader Nicola Sturgeon questioned the legitimacy of a UK government which did not include Scottish MPs. The Green Party will promise to scrap work capability assessments as part of its disability pledge, while urging voters to send a message on climate change in Thursday's poll. Conservative Work and Pensions Secretary Ian Duncan Smith said voting UKIP was like a suicide note for hopes of an EU referendum. But the head of the Bow Group conservative think tank has endorsed leading UKIP candidates. The Independent says it was backing a continuation of the Conservative Lib Dem coalition. Polls suggest the election is still too close to call, and in the final days the parties are focusing on their core messages amid speculation about post-election deals if there is a hung parliament. Labour has been campaigning on the NHS, and is to publish what it calls a leaked document showing the cash deficits of some hospital trusts. The figures come from a group called NHS Providers, which represents and lobbies for NHS trusts. Labour said 98 of England's 240 trusts expected to have run up deficits by next April of more than £750 million between them. The total NHS budget is more than £100 billion. Mr Miliband will say, 2/3 of hospitals face having to make swingeing cuts, not at some point in the future, but this year, because of a cash crisis made in Downing Street. That will mean staff cut, beds lost, and services closed. Mr Cameron told BBC Radio 5 Live that the NHS had made real progress in the past 5 years and his party was committed to providing the money that hospitals need to meet the growing demands they face and to go on treating more patients. We have put the money in. We have got rid of bureaucracy which has kept money on the front line, but people in the NHS have worked incredibly hard to deliver this service, he said. The key thing for the future is to make sure we have the strong economy that can support the strong NHS. Mr Cameron is making a plea to voters in seats held by Liberal Democrats, as well as UKIP supporters and Conservatives who might not bother to go to the polling station, to vote for his party. The PM is warning of bribes, ransom notes and chaos if the SNP supported a minority Labour administration, and tell supporters his party needs 23 more seats to win a majority. While SNP MPs were perfectly entitled to make their voice heard in Westminster, Mr Cameron told the BBC it would be unhealthy for a future government to be reliant on a party that did not want the UK to be a success. Launching his final push, which will take in key Lib Dem marginal seats in Cornwall, Somerset, South Wales and the Midlands on Tuesday, Mr Clegg said his party would do a lot better than the opinion polls and commentators were suggesting. Amid speculation about possible coalition deals in the event of another hung parliament, Mr Clegg said the party with the greatest mandate in terms of seats and votes won should have the space and time to try and assemble a government. The Lib Dems, he told Radio 4's Today programme, would be prepared to talk to other parties, except UKIP and the SNP, in a grown-up way, saying they would be guarantors of stability at a time of great uncertainty.